Hey, what's going on, Weavers? Spider-Man Far From Home is coming out very soon, and in anticipation of that, we are doing a Spider-Man Far From Home themed Paracord Bracelet. The look and color of this bracelet reflects Spider-Man's new suit, and the spider stitch in the center comes courtesy of my friends over at C/S Paracord and More, so you can check out their tutorial for that as well. So remember guys, if you're looking for where to get Paracord and all the tools I use in this video, feel free to check out those affiliate links down below. To start this bracelet off, we are using a self-contained 4-strand core on buckles. If you don't know how to do this paracord base, I will put that link for my tutorial in the description box down below, as well as up in the corner of this video. So I'm going to secure my 4-strand core to my jig here. I gave my wooden jig here a nice stain, so it definitely matches my wooden background. Next, we're going to get our main weaving strands. I've just melted them and joined them together. And all we're going to do is put that join behind our paracord core. And then we're going to start weaving our simple Cobra knots. And I want red in the center, so I'm going to start with the red strand, bring that over the core, take the black strand, put it over top of that one, and take the black strand and put it out the right side crook, like so, and pull down tight. Okay, so I'm sure most of you are familiar with the Cobra knots. But for those that aren't, this is what it is. Now I'm just going to continue tying those Cobra knots. Again, always leading with the red over the core because the red is in the middle, the black over that one and out the other side. Okay, so I'm going to continue tying my Cobra knots down the bracelet, and I'm going to go just under halfway down the bracelet, and I'm going to stop partway down because I want the spider stitch to be somewhere in the middle. Wasn't able to get it perfectly centered just due to the nature of it, but I got it as close as possible. And just a quick reminder guys, if you're not aware, I do run a Patreon page to support this channel. If you want access to exclusive tutorials, feel free to check out my Patreon page, link in the video as well as down below. Now, getting back into the bracelet, I've come down to the point where I need to start my spider stitch. So I'm going to stop the Cobra knots there. And for this one, I'm using 275 paracord. You can use microcord, but I do want my spider to be a bit more pronounced. So I did use a thicker diameter cord. So with the midpoint of that cord, I'm going to put it behind the core strands like so. And I'm just going to have them coming forward. And now I'm going to tie another Cobra knot. Again with the red across the core, black over top of that one, and then black out the other side. Okay, so we're going to lock that down and secure the 275 cord. Now from there, I'm going to tie another Cobra knot, but I'm not going to tighten it just yet. So I'll tie that loosely for now and have it sit like so. Now I'm going to get a fit on my 275. You don't have to use a fit. I just want to do this to make it a bit more clear. We're going to go through the middle 2 cords of the core, and then we're going to come back up through the middle above the Cobra knot and kind of to the left of that 275 cord on the right. So it's coming through the middle like so. And now we're going to do the same thing on the other side, again through the middle on the front, come back above the Cobra knot, and it comes out on the inside like so. So you have both of the 275 cords coming out the middle. And we're going to cinch up that Cobra knot as well as those 275 cords. So once that is done, moving on to the next step, we're going to take those 275 cords and bring them down through the middle 2 core strands like so, and then bring it out to the right side. And then we're going to wrap it back from the right to the left like so, just over top the core strands, and you're going to have it come back out the front. And you want the 2 cords to sit as neatly as possible, so you don't want them crossing over or being twisted in the middle, and that's going to form the kind of middle body of the spider stitch. So now that we have that done, we're going to tie another Cobra knot just below that entire knot there. And we're not going to cinch up that knot just yet. We have one more step before we cinch that knot. This is where you should be right now. Now moving on, with the 275 cord on the right, we're going to bring that down through the middle, again in between the 2 core strands. We're going to bring it around that Cobra knot, come back up, and you're going to finish on the outside this time. Okay, so it's going to come out on the right. And now with the cord on the left, you're going to do the same thing, but mirrored, bring it through the middle, back around that Cobra knot, and you're going to come out on the left side there, to the left of that 275 cord, like so. Now we can cinch up that Cobra knot, like so. And just pull up a bit on those 275 cords to make sure that spider stitch is nice and tight. Next, we're going to tie one more Cobra knot, like so. This one you can pull tight. And then now for the second last Cobra knot, to finish off this Cobra stitch, we're going to take those two ends of the 275, put it through the crooks of the Cobra knot and pull it tight. All right, so there we have our spider tied nicely. And from here, you're just going to continue tying those Cobra knots all the way down the core of your bracelet. Now I'm coming down to the end of my bracelet, and I'm not going to clip off the excess paracord just yet. I'm going to stop right there. And I've taken my bracelet off the jig, and now I want to add those white accents you saw earlier. I think it helps the spider kind of pop a little bit more. And I'm just going to follow the outer sort of quote unquote legs of the spider. So first I'm going to anchor that white microcord just under a couple of Cobra knots there. And you can also melt and mushroom out the end of the microcord to make it so that it doesn't slip out or get pulled out easily. Okay. So now there is one of the legs. I'm just going to go up right next to it through that Cobra knot there. So now the microcord is coming out the front. And from there, we're just going to go in right next to the body of that spider, and you're going to come out the back. It's a little bit hard to show, but you can figure it out when you do it yourself. See how it's just kind of in between those two core strands there, and it's going to go out the back like so. So that's one leg done. Now we're going to go back in from the back of the bracelet, and I want to come out right there. Okay, so very carefully, careful not to pierce the paracord with your fid, so you'll have to carefully wiggle it through. But I'm going to get that fid through, and it goes right there in between the core strands, and I'm going to come out on the sort of bottom right half of the body, and again I'm just following those spider legs. Okay, and it's going to go back out to the back of the bracelet. From there we're going to go across to the other side, and again this one's a bit easier. We're just going to go in through that outer Cobra knot from the back to the front, and repeat the same process on the other side. So again, this one follows that leg, and I'm just going in from the top of the bracelet out the back, and that is the third leg, and to finish it off with the last one. So this part can be a little tricky if you don't have the fids, but if you don't have fids, maybe you have some hemostats and you can use that to work the microcord through, but fids really do help, and I do suggest getting a set of those for your paracord needs and tools. And now we're just going to finish it off by getting the last leg there highlighted with that microcord, and the white microcord. Now I'm just going to anchor it again under a couple of the Cobra knots just to be safe, so that it doesn't come loose, and we can just snip and melt it there. So I'm just going to clip off the excess with my scissors, give it a nice little melt with my jet lighter, and then of course, as always, press down on it with my knotter's tool and have it nice and secure. So now we're going to add the sort of stitching on the body of the bracelet, and we've done this before on my channel, but we're going to do a kind of simpler version. I've got my black microcord on my same type 1 fid there, the smallest fid. Again, we're going to anchor it just under a few Cobra knots. You could do, 2, 3, or 4. It's up to you. I would say a minimum of 2 just to keep it nice and secure. And again, I've kind of just melted the end of my microcord and mushroomed it out so it kind of catches and doesn't slip all the way through the bracelet. So I'm just going to pull that through like so, have it stop there. And now we're going to start doing a stitch across our Cobra knots. So going this way, I'm going to go through the the sort of side Cobra knot there, the black, from the back to the front. And now going kind of on an angle to the other side, we can call this, I guess, the inside of the knot. We'll go through there, out to the side. And I guess depending on which way you're holding the bracelet, this is going to kind of go counterclockwise. And then we're going to go back underneath that first diagonal stitch, right? So just show you nice and clearly, we're going to go underneath that stitch there. And at the same time, in one motion, I'm going to go through the opposite knot there and then pull everything through. Okay, so pull that shut. And this is how you want your microcord to sit for this stitching. Okay, so I pull it shut and the loop kind of just closes around that first Cobra knot, and you can kind of see it on an angle here. Now going back the other way, I'm going to go underneath again and through the Cobra knot on the opposite side. And that is essentially the stitch. It's just going to go back and forth. And I'm going to make my way down my bracelet towards that spider stitch. Now this style of stitching, I do believe, is the part of the advanced herringbone stitch, but we're just doing one pass as opposed to two, like the original advanced herringbone. So you can do the full advanced one if you want, but I like the simplicity of just going one way. So now we've done one half of the bracelet, and we're going to go to the other side. And what we have to do now is go behind the bracelet and take that black microcord, and we're just going to pass it underneath the spider stitch. Okay, so this is just going to keep it the sort of excess stitching nice and neat to the other side. And I just went under a few of the Cobra knots as well as the spider stitch in the middle. And that's going to bring me to the other side where I'm going to continue that herringbone stitch. So I'm going to go under a couple more of these Cobra knots, pull that microcord right through, and now we're going to start again on the other side. And I'm starting from where one of the spider legs goes out the back, and that's the reason why I didn't cut that excess cord yet, just to make it a bit easier. So yeah, I'm just going to restart, and we're going to do the exact same stitching method on this side. And you can just continue that from this point all the way to the end of the bracelet. So again, I'm just going in to the opposite side. We're going to go just kind of like back the way we came and go underneath that microcord. So I think you guys get the point with this one. Just continue that to the other side. So to finish this one off, as you can see, I'm doing the last stitch here. And I'm going to go through where the red is coming out. So that's, again, the reason why I didn't want to cut those yet. Even if you do cut the excess cord, you can still get the microcord through. It's usually not a big deal. So now with that through, I'm going to go bring the microcord to the back side. And again, I'm going to anchor it under about 4 Cobra knots, like so. Keep that nice and secure. And pull all that microcord through. And from here, we're just going to cut off all our excess cords. That includes the 275 cord from the spider stitch there, as well as the microcord, the black microcord that we were working with for the herringbone stitch. And last but not least, the excess cord from the Cobra knots. So just clean all that up and we will be done. And there we have it, guys. There is the Spider-Man Far From Home Paracord Bracelet. Hope you enjoyed this one. A huge thank you to all my Patreon supporters. If you guys want access to exclusive videos, you can check out my Patreon page, link in the video as well as down below. And yeah, I'm really excited for Spider-Man Far From Home. What do you guys think? So I think it'll be interesting to see how Marvel ends off phase 3 of the MCU with this last Marvel movie, Spider-Man Far From Home, coming out soon. And yeah, let me know what you guys think of this bracelet. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to check out what I have to offer on the rest of my channel. Thank you so much for watching. See you on the next one.